gamers, YouTubers, and everybody else who's found this channel. Welcome to the first episode of the Mathiason Project. I'm your host, Thor Mathiason, and today we're going to be playing Strider for the NES. The Striders. They are the toughest group of people who execute acts such as infiltration, abduction, explosion, instigation, etc. Now we're going to meet our cast of characters. First we have Sheena, with a very cool machine gun. I want one. And now we have Kane. And finally, we have our hero, Strider Hear You, master of the cipher and the really cool scarf. Now we have a shot of their space station, the Blue Dragon. Shot of Hear You running. As we're treated to some very awesome music courtesy of Capcom. They really knew how to make great music in the NES era. And this game's no exception. Little shot of Hear You posing with a cipher. And now we're back to the title screen. Here we've got two choices, Game Start or Password. Obviously we're going to want to hit Game Start. And this brings us to the opening cutscene. Hear You, there is only one reason I asked you to come for. This is our boss, Matic, who I swear has been taking hairstyling lessons from Egon Spengler from Ghostbusters. Kane was captured by the enemy. Since they once knew who he is, rescuing him is meaningless. Ah, beautiful English. This game has it. Kill him. That's your mission. Kill Kane. I can't do it. The first thing is to find him. And now we're in the main control room of the Blue Dragon. This is where we're going to come between levels. As you can see on the right hand side we have three options: Transfer, Analyze, and Password. Now, Analyze here. As we go through the game we're going to find 6 file disks, and this is where we're going to bring them to find out what's on them. At the moment we don't really have anything, so this is pretty well useless to us. Now, Password. This is what obviously gives us our password in case we die or in case we gotta leave the game for whatever reason. In fact, I'll demonstrate that right now. This is the password for the beginning of the game. Why it felt that we needed a password right now, I have no idea, but there you go. The thing I like though with it is it always gives a little preview of what's going to happen next in the game. The next story. The battle has just begun. Where is Kane, who is captured by the enemy? Coming next scene, the Kane Rescue Mission. And that's where we're heading next. The only thing though with doing this is it always brings us right back to the title screen. But, no biggie, no bigs there. But it just means that since we're at the start of the game, we've got to sit through the opening cutscene again. But it's a short scene, so again, no biggie. Now, obviously, next we're going to want to go to Transfer. This is what we hit when we want to actually go places in this game. Gee, I wonder where we're supposed to go. Off to Kazakh. Stan. Now, I don't know if we just got beamed down or took a dropship down or what, but this is Strider Hear You. He runs, he jumps, and he can slash with his cipher. By the way, I really love that arc that it makes when you swing it. It just looks really awesome. Now you can also take the Cypher and stab it straight up. Both of these moves are going to come in handy in this adventure. And here we meet our first enemies, members of the Kazakh Secret Police, who just seem ever so happy to just run and jump right into your Cypher. Who am I to say no to that? Incidentally, they carry these great big swords, and they just run right at you. Now, before I go on, what's this up here? Does the Strider world have a ceiling up in the sky? Are we under some kind of dome? Or were they going for some kind of a Castlevania-style film strip? Now, cool little trick that I'll show you here is that you actually tend to jump farther if you jump while you're coming down a slope. Which makes the perfect way to surprise that guy. And I almost got surprised right there. By the way, I think earlier, when you only saw a little bit of that guy, I think his gun was actually wrapping around to the left side of the screen. Yeah, this game, it's fun, but it's not the most technically sound. It tends to have all kinds of little glitches like that, and we'll end up running into some lag spikes throughout the game. That's just part of it. Now, we could go off to the left this way, but really all we need to do is just drop down here, out to this platform, and yeah, this is definitely not going to be a perfect run. These guys, we're going to run into them a lot, especially in the first couple of levels, and they have this nasty habit of spawning right where I need them to go, like that. Oh. Okay, how I avoid getting shot there, I have no idea. Now that little bit that you just dropped there, that's a battery, which is going to be used, which refills the E-meter there. Although right now we don't really have anything that the E-meter is used for, but we will very soon. This door here we can open once we have the level 3 security key, but that's not going to be for a while yet. Although that does remind me, if you press select, it brings up the main menu. Here you can see down in the lower right corner keys. Right now we already have a level 1 key. There's also a level 2 and a level 3 key. In the bottom left we have data files. That's going to be where the 6 files I mentioned earlier go. Now if you look in the upper left corner, we're currently at level 1. Our health max is 20, our energy max is 10. Our S level, whatever that is 2. I don't really know what that is. I think that has to do with how powerful our sword is, but I could be wrong. Now, trick. This is where the energy comes in. As we go through the game, Hiryu is going to end up learning a lot of really cool special moves. I'm going to try to show off as many of those as I can during this playthrough. And these other 2 empty boxes, those are for other stuff that we're going to find throughout the game. I'd tell you what they are now, but that'd be spoiling some stuff, so let's keep that a surprise for now, shall we? So now we go up here, where we pretty much have the file number 1 disc dropped right into our lap. Now, we could head back to the Blue Dragon and see what's on this, but let's go a little bit further in. Yeah, the screen always does that little flashing thing when it's about to change to a new color palette. My apologies for any epileptics watching this, but that's just part of the game. By the way, I just love how these enemies just explode like that. It's actually one of the cooler, more graphic deaths I've seen in an NES game. Let's see if I can... There we go. Jumping in this game tends to be rather finicky, especially when you're dealing with slopes like that. I'm surprised. I'm actually doing pretty well on life, as I took a hit from an enemy. Now this is our health pills. These are dropped by enemies. They come in large and small varieties. Large ones they restore about 10 health, I'm wanting to say, and the small ones only restore 1 health. Thankfully, the game is being surprisingly generous with them this time. On my practice run, I could barely get them to show up at all. Now this door here, we can open this once we have a level 2 security key. But, again, that's not going to be for a little while yet. Oh good. During my practice run, I also almost landed right on this guy. So here, level 1. Let's go in. Now this next room, I'm going to show you guys a cool little trick. Dude drops down here, aim your cipher up, and guys just fall right into it. I love it. I also loved how those guys fall facing the wrong direction. Like, yeah, I'm right over here. Unfortunately, this guy happens to be facing the right direction. But just keep slashing him in the cockpit and he'll explode. Come to think of it, that actually does sound pretty painful, so yeah. Now as we go through here, we meet this guy who just pops right on the screen. That tends to happen whenever you meet new characters in this game. They just show up right out of nowhere, literally. And to talk to them, you just run into them. Please wait! A cane is up there and the commander has the key. A cane. What, do you guys have more than one? Do you have a cane upstairs, a cane downstairs, a cane in the kitchen? Anyway, the cane that's up there, that is the one that we're looking for. You'll find it if you analyze this. Please let me go. Now thankfully, once he is gone, I don't know, I'm guessing here you probably just let him live. Here we got the file number 2 disc. This is why we came here in the first place. Now, before I head back to the Blue Dragon to see what's on these discs, I want to show you guys what's over here. This flashing floor and wall here, we'll actually be able to climb up this once we have a certain item that we'll get later in the game. Well, we're actually going to be coming over to Kazakh a lot. So, now, the funny thing is, a lot of people, when they think of Strider, I doubt they really think very much of this game. They usually tend to think about the arcade game, where it's Hiryu versus Grandmaster Mayo. And in fact, that's the one that the new game is going to be coming out later this year is about. But actually, before I continue that, let me show you a little something here. Since we went through that little bit of the game, we're at level 2, our energy max went up by 12, our S level went up by 3, and we learned the ability to slide. Or slide in, but it's sliding. To be able to do that, you crouch, then you hit left or right on the control pad, then you press A, and here you go sliding. Already pretty cool in itself, but we're going to end up finding something later that's going to make that even better. But anyways, like I was saying, that people tend to think of the arcade game, but what they didn't know is that Strider was actually a rather big multimedia project that Capcom had going on when the game came out. There was the arcade game that everybody knows, but then there was also this game, and there was a manga that told about Hiryu's fights against something called the Zane Project, and in fact, it's that manga that this game is based off of. The really funny thing is, Okay, where did that bullet come from? Seriously? But, funny thing is, we never got that manga over here. To this day, I don't think it's ever been translated into English. But funny thing is that Japan never got the game. This one right here that we're playing. Which, by the way, I'm actually playing via the Capcom Classics Mini-Mix for the Game Boy Advance, which also comes with Mighty Final Fight and Bionic Commando. Will I do those games too sometime? We'll see. But this right here, this is that hole that I dropped down earlier. Told you we'd be back. And we got more of these guys that love to jump right into us. This just tells me tons about the Kazakh Secret Police training. Surprise! Oh yes, I almost forgot about that guy. And these ones. Now here we are back at the beginning of the level. And if we want to go back up to the blue dragon, which we do, all we have to do is just jump to the edge of the screen and it shoots us right back up. So now that we have a couple of discs, let's see what's on them. Select file to be analyzed. Always a good idea to start with number 1. File 1 analyzed. I'm Ryuzaki, a strider, and I love my ninja mask. I left my attack boots in China. Okay, now here I've got to wonder, how do you leave your attack boots somewhere? Weren't you wearing your boots? Are you just like running around without boots now? Not the brightest of striders, this one. Please find them. So, okay, that lets us know that there's going to be a pair of attack boots hidden somewhere in China. That information is going to be good to know later. So now let's go ahead and analyze Disk 2. File 2 analyzed. Vice Commander, it's me. I'll go to Egypt via Phantom Train. Don't lose the prisoner. Now, what analyzing those 2 disks did is it opens up 2 more locations we can go to on the transfer command. There's Kazakh, where we just came from, and where we'll eventually be back. There's Australia. This opened up from scanning Ryuzaki's disk. Why his disk doesn't unlock China, I'll never know. And Egypt, where we're going to want to go next. But before we actually go there, let me just show you what's in Australia real fast. Here's a hint, not much yet. That is an awesome space station, I'm not gonna lie. So here we are in the Australian outback. Another little lag spike. And yeah, I'm not going down after that battery. No way, no how. I'm also not going to jump into that pit of spikes just to show what's gonna happen. It's just gonna show me being killed. And I will probably do enough of that in this playthrough already. We'll be back here later, though, when we can make that jump. So, our next stop's going to be Egypt, but first, here's our password now, for a little something for those of you playing at home, just in case any of you guys are. I'll leave it. You guys good there? You see it? Alright, if not, you guys can always just pause the video. And now our next preview. The next story. Train, desert, and pyramid. You'll find a clue somewhere. Can Hiryu find out Aqua Boots and meet the enemy commander? Coming next scene, The Mystery of Pyramid. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you stay tuned for part 2 as we explore Egypt. For now, this is Thor Mathiason, signing out.